I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Alright guys, welcome back to Crazy House Performance. Today, we finally get to start putting the Magnum back together. It is completely tore apart. Engine is out of it, transmission is out of it, exhaust is clearly off of it, and this is the motor that was out of it. For those that don't know, it's still a 5.7 Hemi, all-wheel drive RT, but I took the old camshaft out of the Dakota and put it in here, and long story short, I ruined this motor. It seized up, broke the dowel off the cam. Complete, utter disaster. So we have to switch everything from this motor to the one that is over here in the corner. I am gonna look inside it, but I don't think, unless there's anything real detrimental, I'm probably not gonna change anything. I've got Isaac's truck in the shop and it's full of parts for the Magnum. So I'm gonna get those out, nothing crazy. At the moment, we just got the suspension because we broke the CV axle, and the ball joints and all this thing on this car was completely worn out. So we're gonna go ahead and replace all that stuff while it's apart. And yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I don't know how far we'll actually get started tonight, so the setting might change. And to show all the parts, we got one CV axle, the other one's already brand new. We've got, sway bar end links, upper and lower control arms, and honestly, I have no idea what's in this box. So simply put, we've got upper and lower control arms, we've got inner and outer tie rods, and we've got sway bar end links, and one CV axle. Front suspension should be fairly new and tight at that point. So I'm excited to get that thing back on the road. We're gonna order a camshaft, so that way it's not stock. Those heads have springs and retainers and everything already in them. I have considered switching them over to an eagle head because I have to tune this thing anyways, but we'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen quite yet. We got a 5.7 on the stand. This is the new engine. We're going to pull it apart, which I've already got started on clearly, and make sure everything's good and convert it over to the all-wheel drive stuff. Like I said before, we have all of the suspension parts. I got a control arm laid out here on the ground. And I got the other control arms this morning. So I'm not really going to document a whole lot. I am going to show you some of what I would say crucial moments or pivotal points. This is no different than what was in my truck. Stock rods, stock pistons, nothing crazy. I am going to put a cam back in it. Going to use Flyin Ryan's Hell Fire cam just for our daily driver, some decent sound, and kind of go from there. For now, we gotta get this bad boy torn down and ready for that camshaft, so let's get to it. Okay guys, so we happen to have the cam out. We have all the MDS stuff out. I did pull the rod cap in the very far back to see how it looked. It looked very good. The bottom of the motor, as far as like tarnishing and cleanliness, it looks really good. The pan looks really good. There's a little bit of honing I'm gonna have to do or clean with some Scotch-Brite pad or something, because there's some rust in the cylinders from it sitting, I'm assuming, at the wrecking yard. Waiting on the cam to get here, so we're kind of hitting pause on this. I do have to put the oil filter threads in. Otherwise, we're looking really good. So Isaac is here without a bag of chips, but he's here. I don't have any chippies. So he doesn't have any chippies. We have got parts. None of these are very exciting, but this one right here is exciting. I'm probably going to hand the camera to Isaac because I was just complaining about how I don't get any other angle other than me holding the camera. So I'm probably going to hand it to him real quick, but I'm going to have to switch the thread for the oil filter. This is the size that it normally is for the 5.7. I don't know where the other one is, but I damaged the threads trying to get it out of the old block. And I couldn't find another one in time for today, so I'm gonna put this one in, and that just means I run a ram filter for now, which is not a big deal. Same size, same everything, just different thread. Stupid. So here's the man, the myth, the legend himself. It's gonna look like every other hard part in the world, but we're gonna hope maybe there's stickers or something cool or exciting in this deal. It's very fragile, it says. So, oh, I wish I might show you guys this. Hold on, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. So you would think I ordered this in Texas, and it went from Texas to Portland. We're right here. And then at 1 in the morning, it decides it wants to go to California and then back to Spokane. I'm like, where in the, anywhere on the map does that make any sort of sense that they should do that? Like, there's a major airport here and there's a major airport there, and it should have just made the little jump, not whatever that zigzag is. So it's finally here, so no complaining. Flyin Ryan Performance has sent us another one of his cams. For those that don't know, he built the one for the red truck. I have not got to put it in there yet. It's a custom grind off of his Moab, I believe. And now we've got one for the Magnum because we broke our last one. So here is the bad boy to that. It is one of his Hell Fire cams. I was gonna get the Tomahawk, but they were not in stock. And yeah, oh, it does say Hell Fire on the top. We got this nice little engraving, and then the Hell Fire cam. There's videos online. Sounds pretty good. Videos don't typically do them justice, so we're gonna try to get this bad boy in that block. Oh yeah, that's something else I forgot that I need to do. But we're gonna try to get that thing set up, and hopefully, maybe, just maybe, get this thing running this weekend. So we got the engine essentially put together. Didn't film much. It's the next day. Had some snags as far as stuff that I forgot, like motor mounts and everything, because they were toast. So I wanted to replace it. Actually, these came off the red car that I did not too long ago. I took the new ones off of this, scavenged them to try to save it, and these were what was left, and I forgot. So they're toast. Got new ones. There was some other stuff like the MDS plugs I had to wait for. I had to get a new timing chain and tensioner. So we are put together. Doesn't look pretty. Doesn't need to look pretty at the moment, at least. And I'm just anxious to get this thing back in. So we're gonna try to set this back in the car right now. I'm hoping at a minimum tonight to get the engine setting in there and clean up a little bit of my mess around here. And hopefully, if I can get the engine in, I should be able to put all the drive axles and suspension back together and get this thing sitting back down on the ground. Still have to put the transmission in it, but just need to start checking things off the list, so let's get to it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway.
So we have the motor in, at least, the motor mounts. We got the transmission that still needs to go in, because if you let the engine hoist all the way down, the motor stresses the mounts right here on both sides because it tilts down. So I'm probably gonna leave the chain on it and a support jack underneath it for the night. I still gotta do some cleanup, and I gotta blow out the cylinders and everything again one more time and wipe everything down. Still got to obviously put the suspension together. I was gonna do that tonight, and then I decided I was gonna stop just because it'd be easier to get the grease gun in here. Front suspension and brakes all buttoned up. Essentially the tire can go on. I'm gonna leave it off just that way crawling in and out is a little easier. Motor's just hanging there with the engine stand or engine hoist. This side is done as well. We have got like a mess of stuff. So now it's time to get this transmission back in the car. It's just little old me as normal. So we're gonna try to get this thing dealt with, get it up in there, hung. Ideally, what I would like to have happen today is transmission in, bolted up, bell housing bolt, starter, exhaust, all underneath, wheels, tires, setting back down on the ground. So that way we can jump into the engine bay and button up all the wires and get to all the bolts pretty easy and have decent access. I've got all the accessory stuff other than the power steering pump on, because that bolts to the head, the new motor mounts, yada yada. So this just allows a little bit more room. that's why we're doing it this way for now. It was a little easier to get it in the engine bay by myself without the heads on. I do actually, now that I think about it, still have to do one more thing. This head is ready to go on. This one has 2 bent valves I need to replace. I did not bring the tool with me, so I'm gonna have to go get that. That's probably the one thing kind of slowing down my motivation for the day, because I gotta go the other direction and go get the tool and come back. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably try to make it a late night and get this thing running, or very close to it. All right, guys, so we got the transmission close. It's not there. Just showing you, that we got it balanced and somewhat going up. This is not the most ideal way. We're still waiting on the lift to get here. And before you ask me, well, hey Ty, why are you using just a regular jack instead of your transmission jack? Well, this transmission weighs like 1,000 pounds. That's exaggerated, but trying to get it on over that and the car up high enough to where it reaches just doesn't work. So, yeah, so this is what we're stuck with. We're almost there. Hopefully we can get this thing bolted and married and hanging. That's the goal. So just wanted to show you. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have the car lowered down, everything underneath outside of bolting the exhaust and the drive shaft is done. We have one head gasket on this side. Need to put the head gasket on the other side, but we're gonna go ahead and put the heads on. I fixed the valve. Let's see. So those are our bent valves. This one right here is bent as well. Obviously the intake more so than the other. So now we're going to go ahead, now we got the heads fixed, we're going to clean them up, put them on. Got one manifold or header already on. Hopefully so it just makes it a little easier. But let's get to it, make it happen. Okay, so we're about to call it for the night. I guess I'll show you what I'm about to do now for a minute. These are, okay, so this is not my original exhaust. This is off another Magnum that I had bought and already sold. It has some nice MagnaFlow mufflers on it, and mine didn't have tips. So this needs to be cleaned. I would like to do a full cat back exhaust, but again, for a daily, no big deal. But those tips are hideous. So just figure I'd give you guys a little before and a little after. Should only take a few minutes, so let's see where that gets us.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours.
So before, after,
take a cold shower, scream until
before,
you're louder, work until you're prouder, and all the doubters,
after.
they're just your downers.
Not great, not perfect, way better. All right, so we got the other tip done. Just wanted to give you guys a visual here as far as what the car kind of used to look like. It doesn't quite look this bad. That used to be pretty much what the back of the car looked like. That's battery cable, so don't mind that. But in general, no tips. We gotta do some updating on the lights, but now it's time to throw that on and see if we like it better. Okay, so I'm not saying it looks amazing, but I feel like it looks a lot better with tips there versus no tips. I do wish they were a little bigger. I hate these wheels, by the way. I swear one day they'll go. But either way, that's the back of the Magnum. It's looking pretty decent. I gotta clean up the tips now because my hands have been all over them. They look like crap again, but not nearly as bad as they were. They were all pitted and rusty. So they'll polish up real good now. It's probably where I'm gonna stop for the night. I'm gonna pick back up in the morning. And hopefully we get startup. Startup would be nice. And a good startup. Nice, smooth, well, choppy, and no major issues. I don't know if I showed, but the suspension, all the new suspension and brakes are on. So she's pretty much a new car. Cylinder head's on, not torqued. Most of the wires, like, you know, power steering pump, serpentine belt, hoses, alternator wiring, O2 sensors, exhaust is finally tight, drive line's finally in. So underneath the car is completely done. So anyways, hoses are on, most of the wires are done. I'm gonna put the tires on, lower the car onto the ground, go get my torque specs because I can't remember them off the top of my head. I want to say it's like 25 pounds and then 90 degrees. But I don't want to overdo it because I'm not remembering. So just make sure. So let's put the tires, get the car on the ground. We're that much closer. We've got all the wiring for the most part gone to where it needs to go as far as AC and the alternator. What else? We got the hoses hooked up, all the water hoses tight. We still have to torque down the head, so I'm about to do that. Once we do that, we can put the valve train in, valve covers, intake, then start it. Woo! We gotta top it off. We gotta put some fluids in it, of course. So let's get to it. I'd like to hear this thing run tonight. Hopefully next couple clips we're real close. All right guys, so we've got the intake and everything on, valve train in. I'm pretty sure everything is ready to fire. I have not got oil in it or transmission fluid yet, so I'm gonna do that now as well as water. And then we'll fire it up and see how it sounds. All right, so we're letting the old Ranger here charge the battery to the Magnum. She's a little dead. And then we're gonna just try to dry crank it. Injectors are unplugged. Try to build a little bit of oil pressure before we fire. All right guys, me and the little Nugget here, we're gonna try to start it. This is the actual first start. We've been cranking a little, just plug the injectors in. Let's see what we got. Make sure you watch this real quick. Keep PSI, so go again. So it started. I know you guys probably couldn't hear it. Lifters are pumping up. They've been sitting a while. We do have the dipstick tube underneath is leaking. I don't really know why, but I'll get to that later. Let's try it one more time. Just can't do that. Okay, so it wasn't a lifter. I don't know how I didn't catch this. Kind of funny. A little annoying because I feel like I took my time on this and I feel like an idiot. So I'll show you what I found. So here's some original header gasket that was stuck to the back of the header on top of the new gasket. And it was on this rear cylinder, and it was causing enough protrusion that it was making this one leak. So I listened for it. I definitely heard it in this area, and this is where I feel like an idiot because I listened to the valve train and it sounded like a sewing machine, and I was like, that just seems like it can't be a lifter. Well, I put my hand and felt around, and it would go away with a little bit of throttle input. It'd come back at idle, and I thought maybe the pressure was bleeding off, like maybe I hurt one of the lifters because it was in the motor originally, and maybe it just can't hold enough pressure, and I kept listening, and I put the stethoscope with the air in. I don't know what the technical term is, but and I melted it. But it got this little thing, you put it down in there and you can hear vacuum leaks and exhaust leaks and yada yada. I thought I heard something, but it was so faint that I was like, it's gotta be a lifter, man, because out away from the car it was so loud. So that's what I found. I'm actually gonna hit pause for tonight. Unfortunately, I could probably reuse that header gasket. I'm not going to, just because I don't want to take it apart in the car. And I put the other lifters back in it, and I pray to God that one of them isn't actually wrong, because I will probably snap. But that's where we're at. I can admit where I make a mistake. I should have checked the flanges on the headers, and I did not. So here we are. Dummy. Let's get... Okay, so we've got the car put back together. It's the next morning. I guess I'll show you where we're at, even though it looks like an engine. Everything is on other than throttle body intake, which I'm probably just gonna, I might throw on real quick, and then we'll fire it up, and hopefully within a few seconds she starts to sound normal. Come on. Oh, we need to connect the battery. Of course. Sounds better. We still forgot to plug in one thing. Helps if the throttle body's plugged in. There we go. Let's try it. That sounds way better. Way better. Not too cammy yet. That might be because it's warming up, and also the tune. The tune will do a lot for how choppy this thing should sound. Man, I got a disaster going on. This should just be from all the oil I dropped. It should burn off and come right back to normal. All right, it's starting to cam a little. Still a lot could probably be had in the tune. Might be a little too quiet. All right, so we're out front of the shop, obviously. The car is running. Just kind of burping it. Found a couple of drips. I don't know if it'll pick up. Sounds pretty good. Still pretty quiet, way quiet for what I'm used to. Haven't got to drive it yet. We're trying to let the coolant burp down a little, and then we'll go to the car wash. Kind of a ritual. Anytime a major project or car gets running again, I go to the car wash at least. Because it collects dust, you feel better, kind of rinse off all that old. So want to kind of clean up the engine bay a little more. All right, guys, we're at the car wash, clearly. So all sudsed up. Try to get the first layer off. I know we got a lot of noise in the background, but I couldn't let you leave without hearing a little bit of rev action. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it. What do you guys think? How does it sound? I know we've done a couple of cams here in the last couple of videos. We got some more Dakota content coming soon and a bunch of other stuff, so stay tuned, keep it crazy, and we'll see you guys next time.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world fine? Please Lord give me a sign.